Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Hey, you can look for my book. I've got it on my links here at YouTube, and also, if you're a Facebook friend of mine, I have the links on my Facebook page. Thank you so much. Without further ado, let's get with this. Y'all know that April is Child Abuse Awareness Prevention Month, so I figured it's important that we discuss this. Thanks for watching. Welcome. Please hit the thumbs up. I appreciate y'all. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use to balance in favor of fair use. Thank you so much. Hey there, Chris. Good to see you. Okay. Without further ado, it's in here. Oh, you're going to have to start your laptop? Okay. See you in a few minutes, okay? Or you did it already. I hope people come in and they come in here to discuss this problem, this issue. It's major. So let me share the screen. I'll go ahead and enter our screen. Abuse affects our lives in so many ways. What do we do when? We are too scared to tell. Well, we have trusted someone and they did not help. Sometimes someone asks, "What did you do to get punished this way?" Abuse is abuse. Abuse is not punishment. Abuse is torture, crippling, and debilitating. What advice would you give others to help them through the horrendous memories? Are you there for the person, or are you part of the knife in your friend or relative's back since you may have turned a blind eye to it? Are you claiming to advocate against abuse but condemn the people who tell and share their stories? Do you want to be a part of the solution or part of the problem? Let's stand united and discuss ways in which we may help others. What ways have helped you in your healing journey? Are you in a constant battle fighting the negative forces within? Stop. Let's encourage one another. Are you an officer in the judicial system not doing your job to help the victim? That means you're not doing your duty. Your duty is to serve and protect. How do we open the public's eyes so they can acknowledge and feel the need to help protect the children and our citizens? The children are our future. Okay. Without further ado, let me stop that sharing right there. For some reason, it's doing it twice. So, present, share screen again. Let me put it down here. Share screen. This website here, it's AWBW, Art Transforming Trauma. I think this would be really good for people to go with your kids. My safe home, and there's a printout thing where you can print it out and it's a home, and you can do a booklet. This is like the meaning of safety through a child's eyes by Jenny Barbosa, prevention specialist, women's shelter of Long Beach, California. I was first introduced to AWBW many years ago as a participant, and I never imagined I would have the opportunity to facilitate the workshops myself. Years later, I began working with youth impacted by domestic violence and cannot imagine myself doing anything else. I fell in love with this work, particularly connecting with young people who witness violence in their own home. Research shows that children exposed to violence in the home are themselves victims of physical abuse, which puts them at serious risk for long term physical and mental health problems. Oftentimes, youth experiencing abuse have difficulty defining what a safe home means to them. The supportive services that we provided included a 16-week program that helped children and youth learn appropriate terminology to better understand what they have witnessed and to label and express their feelings. They learned about healthy and unhealthy behaviors and how to unlearn the latter by adding new tools to their toolbox. Excuse me. Sorry, should have muted my mic. In addition, the program provided an opportunity to learn various feeling words in order to describe different emotions and alternatives to violence when dealing with conflict. In the groups, youth struggled with finding the right terminology to express themselves and what they are feeling. This included expressing emotions such as anger in unhealthy ways. Our sessions incorporated discussions relating to different feelings and what safety meant to them. Well, when I first started therapy years ago, she was like, "How do you feel?" I just knew to say fine. I didn't know that much more, just fine. I thought as long as I was fine, I was okay. I had to be. She handed me a feeling wheel, an emotion wheel, so I had to turn that like I feel. Mm, do I really feel this and that and other? So yeah, if you were not allowed to have a lot of the emotions and the feelings, you were basically told to shut up. You were not. You could not express. Children were to be seen, not heard. Basically, in the years when I was growing up. In our 79 age group, we had a child who was a witness to a lot of abuse in this household. As a result, he believed that certain unhealthy behaviors were normal and acceptable, such as insulting others when feeling angry. We facilitated the my, my Safe Home AWBW workshop with this group, and after providing suggestions on how to go about the workshop, I noticed that this child kept looking at his paper and seemed unsure of what to create. I invited everyone in the group to discuss what a safe home may look, sound, or smell like. And I heard the child share that he didn't know what that looked like. I welcomed the child to create whatever he wished, including doodling on his paper. Afterwards, we discussed what a safe home should look like, that no one should ever feel afraid. When we moved into the sharing portion of the workshop, the child was intrigued by what everyone was sharing and had a look of confusion in his face. This group discussion helped the children to understand and define safety and what they may look like for them. At the end of the group, we let the children know that no matter what situation is currently happening, nobody is deserving of any type of abuse. Later, the child's mother shared that the art workshop sparked a conversation at home about what a safe home was and what that meant for her child. The workshop led him to speak up to his mother and express to her why he was feeling unsafe. He also understood that even if someone is a loved one, it did not mean that they could hurt others. After some time, I witnessed a change in this child. He went from expressing that violence was an acceptable way to solve problems to voicing alternatives when feeling anger, which also helped to open up lines of communication with his mother. My Safe Home is one of my favorite art workshops to facilitate with children and youth because it can be modified to fit various facilitation settings, such as My Safe Group or My Safe Classroom. It brings attention to the importance of providing youth with a safe space to express and understand that even in unhealthy environments, we have the ability to bounce back and recreate what the word safe means to us. I think that would be pretty good right there if the classroom, the schools and stuff could do that as well because there's so much bullying at school going on. I think that would be very important. Some of y'all listening, take the bull by the reins, okay? The children aren't inherently violent. Violent expression or behavior is a result of their environment. Research shows that children exposed to violence in the home are themselves victims of physical abuse, which puts them at serious risk for long term physical and mental health problems. AWBW workshops provide survivors with opportunities to express their inner emotions through creating art without worrying about it being perfect. When youth and children experience trauma, it can be difficult to put in words what they are feeling, and they often shut down. The art workshops create a space for survivors to express what is going on internally when they may not be ready to speak out about their experiences. This uplifted voices, that's stories right there, which I would not be able to put up. So when y'all go to the link, let me put the link here in this copy. Let me share it right quick on here. Are you back, Chris? So let me go ahead and put the banner here so that I'll be able to show it on the screen for everybody. Add banner. But it might not went ahead and let me do it all. Let me try that again. I can't believe how long of a URL this is. Paste. Okay, it is long. Okay. Okay. So it's like save. See, it's so long of a URL, it ain't funny, you see. So anyway, when you look at the top of this, it is the campaign, AWBW. Would y'all see this at the top of the page? And you can download Safe Home PDF in English. So I went ahead and I had downloaded that PDF, okay? I'm going to see if I can go to the downloads right quick. Okay, and this is what it basically is right here. The Safe Home, and then you put whatever it is in the Safe Home for you to put in there the different safety things and artwork, however you want to do it. Then you are invited to explore what a safe, let's see right here, home means to you. Using images, shapes, symbols, and words, use the space in and around the house to represent what your safe home looks, feels, sounds, smells, and even tastes like. Take time to think about your personal needs in your home as well as the needs of others who may live with you. There's no right or wrong way to create, just trust yourself, whatever comes out. When you're done, post your safe home in a common area as a reminder of your intentions and commitments. Any part of your safe home can be added to or changed at any time. So I thought that was very important to share that with y'all so y'all could actually go to that website and download it. As I said, it's awbw.org. So y'all be able to go there, okay? Welcome back, Chris. It's good to see you. And go ahead and stage. Let me go ahead and scroll all the way up. I had to stop the sharing just so I could get to this right here. There we go. You're in the studio. Hey there, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here to present again. It was not letting me see the comments, so I had to stop the share for a second to get that back on there. Okay, what is child abuse and neglect? Oh, Lady O, if you would like to come on, also be able to discuss it, you can feel free. Just let me know, and I'll be glad to add you up here as well. Understanding warning signs and getting help. This is from the APA, the American Psychological Association. Children depend on many adults as they grow up. Parents, relatives, teachers, and child care workers all provide children with love, support, and guidance. No one wants to see children grow up with fear, anger, or neglect. But no one is born knowing how to care for children. Sometimes we make mistakes and hurt them. Whether you are a parent, a teacher, a relative, or a caregiver, you can make a difference and help the children you love grow up in a caring, loving environment. Adults don't have the perfect, just willing to listen, learn, grow, and change. Why do adults hurt children? Carlos came home from work in a foul mood. 7-year-old Miguel ran out of the kitchen just as his father walked in, and they ran into each other. Carlos cursed and grabbed his son. He shook Miguel hard while yelling at him, and then shoved him out of the way. The next day, Miguel's arms and back had bruises. It takes a lot to care for a child. A child needs food, clothing, and shelter, as well as love and attention. Parents and caregivers want to provide all those things, but they have other pressures too. Sometimes adults just can't provide everything their children need. Adults may not intend to hurt the children they care for, but sometimes adults lose control and sometimes they hurt children. Adults may hurt children because they lose their tempers when they think that about their own problems. They don't know how to discipline a child. They expect behavior that is unrealistic for a child's age or ability. They have been abused by a parent or partner, have financial problems, lose control when they use alcohol or other drugs. I remember when my oldest son was still a toddler, there was a lady friend who she's grown up, when I was a little girl. So she came over quite a bit and she kept saying, well, you need to spank him. You need to spank him. I didn't really see, spanking him at that young, popping his hand if he got anything. But soon I listened to her because I thought she was more pro, and so I would spank him. And I'm like, it's changing his mood. It's changing his identity. I'm not going to spank him. I had to start telling him, I'm not going to spank him. There's other ways to discipline. He's a toddler. He's learning. But no, I'm not going to spank him every time. I'm not going to do that. I fixate and get his mind on something else. That's what you do when you're a toddler. You don't go and just all the time. Hitting is not the answer, people. Okay. What is child abuse? This is an example of physical child abuse. Teresa had just changed 18-month-old Dale's dirty diaper when he had another messy diaper. This made Teresa angry. She thought that putting him in hot water would punish him for the dirty diaper. Oh my goodness. When she put him in the tub, he cried loudly. Of course, it's hot water and scalded him. Teresa slapped him to stop the crying and didn't notice the scald marks until after the bath was over. Whew. Examples of physical child abuse: shaking or shoving, slapping or hitting, beating with a belt, shoe, or other object, burning a child with matches or cigarettes, scalding a child with water that is too hot, pulling a child's hair out, breaking a child's arm, leg, or other bones, not letting a child eat, drink, or use a bathroom. What is sexual child abuse? This is an example of sexual child abuse. 9-year-old Susan's mother works at night. Her stepfather James is around when she goes to bed. So many evenings James lies down beside Susan. As she goes to sleep, he rubs her breast and genital area. Examples of child sexual abuse: fondling a child's genitals, having intercourse with a child, having oral sex with a child, having sex in front of a child, having a child touch an older person's genitals, using a child in pornography, showing X-rated books or movies to a child. I get so mad when they call it having intercourse with a child. No, that's rape. I get so mad saying, you know what I'm saying? Whew. What is child neglect? This is an example of neglect. John worked nights at the grocery store, but the family needed more money. Ellen looked for work, but the only jobs she could find required her to leave home at 3 a.m. The children, ages 2 and 6, were alone for a few hours until John got home. Wow, they could not take care of. Ooh. Examples of child neglect: not meeting a child's need for food, clothing, shelter, or safety, leaving a child unwatched, leaving a child in an unsafe place, not seeking necessary medical attention for a child, not having a child attend school. Why do abuse and neglect happen? Parents and caretakers don't always know what they are being when they are being abusive or neglectful. Few adults actually intend to hurt or neglect children. Sometimes a caretaker just doesn't know a better way to discipline a child. Sometimes an adult is just too frustrated with life and takes it out on the child. An adult is more likely to abuse or neglect a child if the caretaker was abused as a child, if the caretaker is being abused by a spouse or partner, if the caretaker uses alcohol or other drugs, if the adult expects too much of a child, if the child is the result of an unplanned pregnancy. Some adults don't know how to correct a child without causing physical harm. An adult who has this problem can learn new ways to discipline without hurting a child. Look for times when the child is behaving well. Praise that behavior. Agree on a code word to use when things reach the boiling point. The code word signals that everyone needs some time to cool down before talking about the problem. When a child misbehaves, give the child a timeout, a few minutes alone to think about what happened. Talk to the child about the misbehavior and its effect. Yeah, that reminds me, y'all. I gotta laugh about this, okay? When I started doing my oldest son in timeouts, back when, a couple years later, a lot more so, and both my sons would say, "Mama, Mama, just please go ahead and spank us, please. I don't want the time. I don't," because a lot of times, and timeout too, not just a timeout. Then I start talking to them about the things that they've done wrong, and they said, like, "Just go ahead and hit me. Just go ahead, and whoop me. Just go ahead, please, please. I don't. I'd rather instead of you talking to me about what I did wrong, I'd rather just please just go ahead and spank me." Sometimes parents and caretakers need to learn to control their own anger. They need to identify the things that make them more likely to hurt the children in their care. Caretakers who abuse or neglect a child might be worried about not having enough money, having problems with spouses or partners, coping with a family member's illness or death, acting the way their parents acted, stress for their jobs or other problems, expecting unrealistic behavior, for example, thinking a 5-year-old can handle the same task as a 9-year-old and do them well. Often, people who abuse or neglect children experience more than one of these situations at the same time. Hurting a child or not feeling a child's basic needs never makes things better. No matter what the problem, help is available. Do you know a child who is abused or neglected? Brenda's teacher saw signs of neglect. In the preschool class, 4-year-old Brenda always seems tired. Brenda never brought food for snack time, and she looked hungrily at other children's sandwiches. Her classmates teased her because her hair was always dirty. Paul saw signs of physical child abuse. Paul lived next door to the Harris family, where someone always seemed to be yelling or crying. Well, now Paul heard glass break, then a man shouting and a loud thump. 10-year-old Keisha ran out the door a few seconds later crying. Her face was swollen with the start of a black eye. The effects of child abuse can last a lifetime. An abused or neglected child needs help right away. Is a child you know being abused or neglected? The warning signs of abuse or neglect. Let me see if Lady D, you just listen. You're quite welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's like warning signs of abuse and neglect, cuts and bruises, broken bones or internal injuries, burns, constant hunger or thirst, lack of interest in surroundings, dirty hair or skin, frequent diaper rash, lack of supervision, pain, bruising, or bleeding in the genitals, more knowledge about sex than is normal for the child's age, hard to believe stories about how accidents occurred. What happens to abused and neglected children? Abuse and neglect have harmful effects on children. At worst, a child could die. More often, abused or neglected children live with fear or pain. Abused or neglected children often experience frequent injuries, learning problems, fear or shyness, bad dreams, behavior problems, depression, fear of certain adults or places. I still don't want to go around some of the areas when I'm driving back around the territory where I used to live. For some reason, it really causes like a panic mode type of thing when I'm in that certain area. So even though I think I'm pretty well healed when I go in those certain areas, I want to hurry up and get away. You know, the effects don't end when the abuse or neglect stops. When abused or neglected children grow up, they are more likely to abuse their own families, use violence to solve their problems, have trouble learning, have emotional difficulties, attempt suicide, use alcohol or other drugs. Abuse and neglect are hard on the whole family. And then let's go, how can we end child abuse and neglect? Let's see. Wait a minute, let's see what continue up there, okay? Abuse and neglect are hard on the whole family. Some families need help in dealing with practical problems. For example, getting help to buy groceries or learning how to discipline a child without resorting to violence. In other cases, a child protection agency might move abused or neglected children away from their parents to a safe temporary home. If abuse or neglect is severe, or if it continues, the children can be permanently moved away from their parents into a safe situation. How can we end abuse and neglect? Sometimes people are afraid to report abuse or neglect because they don't want to break up a family. Sometimes people are afraid to get involved in someone else's problem. A lot of people say, that's not my problem. Then all of a sudden, you're something's wrong with like the child was killed or something. It's like, I could have stepped in. I could have helped. I could have. Could have, should have, would have. Too late now, right? Too late now. So what are you going to do next? What are you going to do? How are you going to start helping the others, right? When you report suspected child abuse and neglect, you could be saving a child's life. The goal of stopping abuse and neglect is to keep children safe. Part of keeping children safe is finding help for the adults who have hurt them. Adults who have abused or neglected a child have many places to turn to help. The child's doctor can explain children's needs at every age. He or she can recommend places to learn more about parenting and child care. Local health and social service departments often have parenting classes. Social service workers also can help parents get assistance to ease their financial situations. Hospitals and community centers often have classes on stress reduction, parenting, discipline, and nutrition. Psychologists, counselors, and social workers can help parents and caregivers deal with problems like drug use, anger, and previous experiences of abuse. Religious groups often provide food, counseling, and other types of support for anyone in the community, not just their members. If you see that a relative, neighbor, or friend is under a lot of stress and might hurt children in the care, suggest that the person get help from one of these services. Or maybe even say, I can watch your kids for a little while, when you go to stress a little bit. Take a little stress off somebody by helping them out, you know. What should I do if I suspect a child is being hurt? Report your suspicion to a local, county, or state child protection agency. Call crisis hotline or by the agency number in the blue government pages of a television phone directory. What it says who must report abuse nowadays? Everybody is basically a mandatory reporter. If you see something, say something. Okay, it's good. I'm glad you're still here, Chris. Thank you so much. So when we go over here, it says preventchildabuse.org. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Ever since April was designated as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in '83, the PCA and its nationwide network of chapters, along with child welfare organizations, have recognized it as a time to raise awareness and inspire collective action. Here's some talking points to use as an examples, okay? Children are locally grown. We work together to cultivate relationships, connections, and environments that help every child thrive. We harvest what we sow. We plant seeds of support for all children to yield healthier adults and abundant futures. Work is rooted in science. We know positive childhood experiences and nurturing environments provides fertile ground for physical and mental health, learning, and social skills to flourish. We unearth the possibilities. We focus on innovation every day to give every child what they need and to build bountiful, safe communities. Planning and purpose create common ground. We share resources equitably, expand access to services, and balance conditions for positive childhood experiences to enrich every community. We tend and replenish the soul. We offer homegrown solutions and hearty support to protect what we grow in all elements. Hope and commitment are powerful fertilizers. We combine the promise of a better tomorrow with our resolve to nourish all children and their families in every season. What are some effects of child abuse and neglect? The Child Abuse Prevention Month was created because child abuse and neglect was both widespread and too often invisible. Our children are, are our future. Maybe a cliche, but it's still true. The more adults can have a positive impact on a child's experiences, the stronger society will be. A safe, stable, and nurturing environment can have a proven positive effect on brain development. Research shows that children who suffer from the prolonged stress of abuse and neglect tend to struggle in their behavioral, physical, and cognitive abilities. The effects of early trauma tend to continue through generations. In contrast, experience and support in early childhood can prevent or even reverse the damaging effects of early life stress, with lifelong benefits for a young person's learning, behavior, and health. Whatever seeds have been planted or not planted will affect a person's health, ability to learn, and ultimately earning power. Reason why I didn't abuse like that because I don't want to hurt nobody like I was hurt. I know how it feels. Seems like that would be pretty easy to understand. Like if you have been abused, why you want to hurt somebody else like that? Much less your child or any other child. Why would you want to do it? Child abuse and neglect doesn't stem from just one cause, which is why stopping the destructive cycle is so difficult. Living in a community with a high rate of violence, limited access to social services, poverty, and unemployment are all major factors. Addressing community needs by giving family support has much impact and costs much less than attempting to address the consequences of adversity after a child has grown up. What can be done? And please try to be there for a person. So this right here, this number here that y'all will see, and it's on the picture. Anyone who thinks a parent should seek support can share the 1-800 Children 244-5373 helpline number so you can learn to plant the seeds of a better tomorrow for children and families in your community by visiting the CAP Month webpage below. Let's see what that CAP. Prevent child abusers pathways to resilience spotlight on prevent child abuse America. First, 5 Nebraska's take on Kelly Crane's testimony on LB 114, and then Anna Robert H. Lurie's Children's Hospital of Chicago launched new app. So in Illinois, I guess they have a new app, okay? And there's Read More. So it's got a lot more information in here as well, okay? There's issues, resources. So let me go over here, and this is, let me put over here right quick. Over here, here's a child help thing at the very bottom. It's 1-800 for a child or 1-800-422-4453 or go to childhelp.org. All calls are toll free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 different languages. Thank you, Child Help. Here's the link to their organization right there, www.childhelp.org. It's pretty cool when you go over here to the webpage. A groundbreaking partnership connect to protect kids joined highlights from the 41st International Symposium on Child Abuse. There's testimonials. Then let me go back over here. This is the history. There's a purpose. There's a purpose right here. Child help exists to meet the physical, emotional, educational, and spiritual needs of abused, neglected, and at risk children. Child help believes that every child has a unique contribution to make to the world and deserves the best that we can provide. We believe unconditional love is the foundation on which all healing begins, and that is why we are dedicated to ensuring all children, families, and communities live in a safe, stable, supportive, and nurturing environments that are equitable, inclusive, and free of abuse and neglect. Through our various programs and services, we seek to break the cycle of child abuse and provide healing and hope to those who have experienced abuse. There's the, all who enter will find love. Our vision, we promote evidence-based programs and services that enable advocacy, intervention, treatment, and the prevention of child abuse. Our success relies on a nationwide network of staff and volunteers to provide expertly trained and certified professionals in delivering hope and healing to children and their families experiencing the trauma of child abuse, including bullying, cyberbullying, and the trafficking of minors. An advocate at the national, state, and local level to ensure children, their families, and their community receive the life-saving services they need to heal and grow. A community expert to help intervene and break the cycle of abuse for children and their families at home, at school, at work, and at play. Please help up keep up the battle against child abuse, guys. It's a hard fight, but I'm ecstatic that organizations like this exist in today's world. Jalen N. wrote that. Child help is driven by the values of preventing child abuse, providing intervention and support, fostering healing and hope, and advocating for the well-being of children. Acting with honor and character, being open and receptive, caring about and relating to others, nurturing diverse relationships, performance excellence, inspirational leading, and managing. I want to show y'all something, a little bit about the history right quick, okay? It's pretty exciting when you go back through here. So it's got a history of hope and healing, right? So here's back in the 1950s. Look at how child help was doing. So in 59, it created and formed International Orphans Incorporated on behalf of 11 Asian orphans found on the street and rescued by Sarah O'Meara and Yvonne Feddersen after a severe typhoon. There's the 60s through 60 and 74, built and maintained 4 orphanages in Japan, later asked by Congress to replicate their successes by building 5 orphanages, a hospital, and a school in Vietnam. In the 70s, coordinated Operation Baby Lift, rescuing thousands of American Asian orphans from uncertain futures at the end of the Vietnam War, arranging adoptions in America. President Ronald and Nancy Reagan enlisted the help of Sarah O'Meara and Yvonne Feddersen to help address a silent epidemic, child abuse and neglect in the United States. In 1978, they founded the first child help residential treatment village in America, exclusively for abused and severely neglected children located in Beaumont, California. In 79, established a National Child Abuse Prevention Month by proclamation of President Jimmy Carter. There's something he did good, y'all. I think he's no longer with us, I don't think. I think he died recently, if I'm not mistaken. 1980s, A Time for Love. Child Help's first television special on child abuse and neglect It's aired and syndicated coast to coast. So y'all could, if y'all want, uh, get a piece of paper and y'all can write down some of that stuff. This stuff is too, because it's going to mention a couple of TV shows and stuff. So founded in 1982, the first national 24-hour, 7 days a week toll-free hotline, 1-800, the number 4, and spell out a child. For child abuse support, staffed by top degreed crisis counselor professionals. Co-sponsored in France, a NATO Advanced Study Institute on Research and Innovation in Child Abuse and Neglect. In '83, it served as an officer on the International Union for Child Welfare Board. In 1984, Child Help produces and airs a national telethon on child abuse. Will we hear their cry? In '85, Child Help opens the Western Regional Office, which houses the National Child Abuse Hotline, Family Program, and psychosocial assessments for abused children and their families. In 1986, a Child Help Residential Village aftercare program is designed to serve those children discharged from the village, but who will require support to complete their healing process. In 1987, Child Help opens group homes in Orange County, California, in conjunction with the Department of Children's Services. New Child Help chapters are established in Arizona, Maryland, and Virginia. And then in 1989, Child Help California Foster Family Program launches a program that provides short and long term therapeutic foster care for abused and neglected children, additionally, acquiring licensing to serve children with adoptions. I'll tell you, some of these people are not good that goes and does this stuff, but not every one of them are bad either. But there are some good people that's doing this and some bad people. I just let y'all know that. In 1990, the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline expands, capable of handling up to 5 times the call volume per year due to adding a computerized telephone system. In 1991, Child Help purchases 270 acres of land in Culpeper, Virginia, to build a new East Coast residential treatment facility for abused and neglected children, bearing the name of the major benefactor, Alice C. Tyler. Child Help launches the first of its kind adult survivor program, an ongoing therapy and support group for those who have survived abuse. This is 1992. So y'all want to look up adult survivor program, okay? In 1993, the Alice C. Tyler Village of Child Help East opens in Culpeper, Virginia, dedicated by former First Lady Barbara Bush. See, I thought that was her in this picture right there. So, in 1994, a new Child Help Southern Regional Office located in Knoxville, Tennessee, opens its offices. In 1995, Child Help opens Children's Center of Tennessee, an advocacy center for severely abused children. 1996, led and participated in Stands for Children March in Washington, D.C. Child Help celebrates the grand opening of its new corporate headquarters and relocation of the National Child Abuse Hotline to Scottsdale, Arizona. So in 1997, Child Help's website launches on the internet, childhelpusa.org. In 1998, Child Help opens Children's Center of Arizona, a first of its kind child advocacy center model that co-locates the entire multidisciplinary team: law enforcement, prosecutors, child protective services, medical services, therapists, and more, a model replicated nationwide. In 1999, Child Help chapters and auxiliaries are chartered across the U.S. and continue to grow to this day. In the 2000s now, here's 2000 right here. Look at all these kids to the right. Successfully advocated Congress to pass a bill which passed unanimously, acknowledging Child Help National Day of Hope, the first Wednesday of every April, Child Abuse Prevention Month, a day reserved for people across the nation to pray and observe a moment of silence on behalf of the 5 children that die each day from severe abuse. Did y'all hear that? So the first Wednesday of every April, okay? That's a day of prayer, okay? For the kids on behalf of the 5 children die each day from abuse, severe abuse. So y'all might want to make a note of that because I think that would be very good to continue on. And I would do that every month too. Celebrity and friend Merv Griffin donates his 192-acre property in Wickenburg, Arizona, which is converted into another residential treatment center for abused and neglected children. In 2002, the facility opens and it's named Child Help Merv Griffin Village of Arizona in his honor. I didn't know he did that, did y'all? In 2001, Child Help opens its mobile center advocacy center in Tennessee, the first of its kind in the U.S. In 2002, Child Help Center in Virginia, an advocacy center for abused children, opens. 2003, another Child Help Mobile Children's Advocacy Center begins services in northern Arizona. In 2004, Sarah O'Meara and Javon Pedersen's book, Silence Broken, is published. So you might want to look up that book, Silence Broken, by Sarah, Sara O'Meara, and Javon Pedersen. It highlights child help's beginnings and robust history. In 2005, a child help therapeutic foster care program opens in Michigan. In 2006, Child Help initiates legislation to authorize the establishment of a national registry that will follow child abusers from state to state. How come that's not been going on? That's got to child help. Oh man, there's so many that's going across, and it's not being recognized. And how come they're not doing that right? It was enacted by President George W. Bush under the Adam Watts Child Protection and Safety Act of 2006. For the Love of a Child, a lifetime movie about child help and its founding premieres. Child Help East Tennessee Foster Agency launches, an agency that provides short and long term therapeutic foster care for abused and neglected children, additionally acquiring licensing to serve children with adoptions. 2007, Child Help Alert launches a system that proactively notifies subscribers when a registered sex offender moves into their neighborhood. Yeah, they have that kind of stuff, and they used to notify us no matter where I lived. They'll bring out flyers when one moved in our area, but they don't do that no more. I wonder why, right? 2008, broadcasted Child Help Crystal Darkness anti-meth campaign in states across North America. 2009, all U.S. governors with a show of bipartisan support commit to the Child Help Governor's Resolution to eradicate child abuse. Child Help launches End Child Abuse Now national bus tour. One time when I was living in Marshall County, a couple of years back around 2001, 2002, 2003, the cops brought a brochure and said a guy lived across the woods from me. I had to go through the woods to get to that separated us. And I went to the club because I sang karaoke with my boyfriend. And that guy actually, when I passed him and sang got on the thing, and I was like, y'all need to watch out for him. He's a predator. I was given this handout. You know, he should not be in here, the sex offender, right? They didn't listen to me or nothing. Next thing you know, when I walked past him to go to the bathroom, he all of a sudden he jumps down and he wraps his whole body around my legs. Man, he wasn't gonna let me go. That ended up him ended up getting kicked out of there. That was scary though. In 2010, okay, 2011, launched Child Help Speak Up, Be Safe curriculum with a grant from the U.S. Department of Education. The curriculum would later become the first evidence-based child abuse and neglect prevention education curriculum for pre-K to 12th grade. Florida becomes first state to mandate prevention education in every school across the entire state, over 400 schools. Child Help is asked to join Arizona Governor Jan Brewer's task force of 19 experts in the field and help develop a plan for child safety reform in Arizona. Is it working, y'all? Is it working? Come on now. In 2012, Child Help launches a new prevention program for athletes as a response to abuse in youth sports, underwritten by an Olympic consultant company. In 2014, Child Help.org website receives an update and expansion, providing additional information about the organization and child abuse prevention resources to visitors worldwide. In 2016, Arizona governor proclaims in a former acknowledgement that the first Wednesday in April becomes a Child Help National Day of Hope in the state of Arizona. The Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline partners with Children's National Center in Washington, D.C., a satellite hotline branch. Or Jimmy Carter right there. 2019 expanded chat and text capabilities nationwide with the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline, saving over 200 million victims since its inception. U.S. Department of Defense Education Activity selects Child Help Speak Up, Be Safe program as their official abuse prevention curriculum for military-based schools. Here's the current date now. Here's 2020. The Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline becomes a lifeline for children, families, and survivors during coronavirus pandemic, seeing up to 43% increase in calls as national child welfare lines showed decreases. 2021, the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline becomes a lifeline for children, families, and survivors during coronavirus pandemic, seeing up to 43% increase in calls as national child welfare lines showed decreases. Child Help Speak Up, Be Safe is the first pre-K through 12th grade child abuse prevention education curriculum listed as evidence-based by the California Evidence-Based Clearinghouse. In 2022, it launched Child Help Courage First Athlete Helpline, geared toward athletes to combat abuse in sports in partnership with the Foundation for Global Sports Development. In 2023, Child Help Speak Up, Be Safe celebrates 1 million students protected by the program since inception. In addition, the program expands to include students in Japan among international delivery of prevention education curriculum. In 2024, Google chooses Child Help and announces that any search related to child abuse, neglect, sex trafficking terms, etc., nationwide will be first resource at the top of the page and will direct seekers to the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline. In partnership with Media 360, Child Help launches the Survivor Series Dare to Care podcast to amplify survivors' voices and celebrate their journey to healing. Y'all might want to look that up too. The Survivor Series Dare to Care podcast. The state of Tennessee recognizes September 9th as Sarah Amira Day in honor of the lifetime of service to Tennessee and the children of America. So let me go right here, and there's prevention education programs. Courage First, it's got all these different prevention. So there's where a new curriculum, Staying Safe from Online Harm curriculum. Why choose Child Help Speak Up, Be Safe? There is a comprehensive evidence-based curriculum for age-appropriate lessons for grades PK through 12. Self-paced online facilitator training provides a certificate for educators that may be eligible for continuing education credits. There is a human trafficking prevention curriculum that's been added for grades 6 through 12. Take-home materials reinforce learning and engage parents and caregivers. The online LMS has fully scripted lessons and many resources for facilitators, students, and parents, caregivers. Check out supporting content for kids and their families and helping kids speak up and be safe video. Here's a grades PK through 2, a primary focus on the earliest age groups and emphasizing that adults are responsible to keep children safe. Students learn basic concepts of personal safety and how to identify safe adults in their life. In grades 3 to 5 lessons, it underscores adult responsibility for child safety. Children equipped with key safety rules actively contribute to their own safety. They identify safe adults, recognize potential risk, and practice safety rules. In grades 6 to 8, adults remain responsible for child safety, yet lessons recognize students' increasing responsibilities and privileges. Students learn to recognize potential risk and practice resistance strategies until they can talk to a safe adult. Grades 9 through 12 lessons highlight teens growing independence, focusing on ways to recognize unhealthy relationships and unsafe situations. Students learn to prevent abuse, seek help, and broaden their understanding of abusive behavior. Identifying safe adults and peers reinforces a strong safety network. So earlier I had clicked on, I think, this Get Started curriculum right here, this new curriculum module available at no cost. Okay. I think I got let me show the link up here in the chat. So it was, pass that up there. If I could get it. I got it. Uh, I got to stop sharing for a minute to get to it. For so, hold on a second. There's the childhealth.org. Let's see. Look on the screen right there, everybody. It says childhelp.org / speak up, be safe. Hey there, how you doing? Good to see you, Nicole. Thank you so much, everybody coming in here. Hey, Anna. Good to see you. You're the protected by the children. That's great. Yeah, 5 children die daily. I'll finish this up, and then if anybody wants to get up in a few minutes and get a parent chat too. Um, y'all see that on the screen right here? That's basically where I was going to childhelp.org. Speak up, be safe. Please go to that website. That is very important when you can. So write that link down. I appreciate it. You won't. You'll thank me later, or won't, whatever. So when I clicked on this link right here, it says "Get Started." It has this staying safe from online harm, sextortion, and exploitation. Thank you for your interest in helping kids safe and from online harm. If you're an adult interested in teaching the lesson, contact the kids aged 10 to 15. Please answer this brief survey to get started. Okay, I went ahead and answered it. And so here's where it took me to. So it says staying safe from online harm, sextortion, and exploitation. And it's like start course, right? That's as far as I did get, right? And it said first starts out why teach this curriculum, okay? The online exploitation is an important issue for youth to know about. It can include online sexual harassment. It goes on and on to teach you critical messages for youth, student focused materials. So it wants you to be able to go and teach the kids this, okay? That's basically what it is for you to learn and then show and see. It's like recognize the signs, focus on red flags and behaviors that signal someone may have unsafe intentions, a closer look at sextortion, which a lot of kids are going through that right now. So y'all gotta be careful. Preventing victimization and perpetrators. And there's also building strengths and skills. This has got a world of information that would help our children in school, okay? Peer support, handling disclosures of online exploitation, what to do next and where to get help with downloadable handouts, glossary of terms, further learning for facilitators, resources for educators, youth, and parents and caregivers. More about the Child Health Speak Up, Be Safe program. This has got a world of knowledge here. I really like this fact. I look at the glossary of terms just to see, check it out for a second. Here's a helpful glossary of terms for you to know as a facilitator. Key terms taught to students are included in the lesson content with age appropriate definitions. So, see, but here, y'all can see some of this stuff we might not ever heard of, like a deep fake. But that's something I hadn't heard of, right? It's a video, photo, or audio recording that seems real but's been manipulated by AI. That's basically what some of the teachers are doing right now too, as well. They're using your kids' pictures, students' pictures. Teachers are doing this too. I done seen some teachers that had got arrested for this. They used students' picture and then they made AI pornographic movies using the kids' pictures. Okay, so that is extorting the kids. Good to see you. I'm glad. Anna, would you like to come up and talk too? If you'd like to discuss this issue,
I'm good.
huh?
I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Anna? Would you like to come up?
Oh,
I said, if Anna, if she wants to come up, let me put an invite thing right here if she wants to. Look, copied.
that good
Good.
part what that good part what got me frustrated.
Do what?
That grooming.
Uh huh.
That what happened to me when I was 14 going on 15 back in 89.
That's what got you?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry.
And went to state police barracks around
Oh,
county I'm at.
right.
They said I was too late. They couldn't do nothing. We went to
I,
talk to the guy and all that, and he said he did and couldn't do nothing.
wow. And you know, there are a lot of times when there's one person that's done something like that, there's got to be other people that's his affiliates and stuff that continued on.
Yeah.
It's like the state trooper that said that his daddy had over 300 child pornos. He remembered me from, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like him saying that he remembered me from the child pornos. I said, I remember you. Said, from what? He said, from all the child pornos his daddy did. I said, and I
Mm.
fell, it's in my book. I got it written in there too. And when I remember asking him, said, well, since your daddy's dead now, I hope that and put in mind, he was an Alabama state trooper too. And I said,
Then I
since your daddy's dead, I hope that you got rid of him. He said, no, his daddy had a buddy that liked him, so he gave him half of the movies, right? And so it's like, even though now he's dead too, I'm like, where are all these videos at? And nobody's doing not a dang thing, and they're being dispersed around or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's pathetic.
you know, I told my borough cop, he's a police chief. I told him what he's gonna do, and he
Uh
said
huh.
that'd be 50-50. And I could have got arrested for homicide.
Uh huh.
Not could have been 50-50 right there.
Yeah.
Once I would have told what was going on, and he said I couldn't be 50-50. And
Well,
I told my mother that, and she also said I could have been 50-50 too. I couldn't escape.
it's kind of crazy too when they try to go back, and I don't think they need to remove the statute of limitations when they do this kind of stuff either.
Yeah.
I believe that because sometimes you got blocked memories like I had, and like I still do. And here I am in my 60s, and I'm remembering some of the crap. Like in November, December this past year. I remembered more of the stuff, and I'm like, I mean, so really, you got a statute of limitation, and not a dang thing I can do to these people since it's run out. It's like, really, seriously?
And then a good friend of mine, he used to be the fire chief here in town where I'm at. He told me about 2 years ago, that perpetrator,
Uh-huh.
he passed away about 2 or 3 years ago. And I told my mom that, he said he's burning in hell for what he did to me.
Yeah, because as we got it in this Bible verse, even but
Mhm.
whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the death sea. That kind of stuff really God hates.
Yeah,
God really hates anybody hurting his children.
he deserved to go to hell for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And people, we need to do, like this Bible verse says in Isaiah 1:17, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow.
Too.
Uh, And people, they try to silence you with a lot of that as well, don't they?
Yeah,
It tries to seem like it's your fault, or if you try to tell anybody this day and time, um, they'll say that, did you like it? I cannot believe with some of the people's comments, like when you tell them, or because you're basically getting it out there to try to help others, and then the next thing they might ask, well, did you enjoy being done that way? I bet you did enjoy it. Like, what?
yeah,
What could you even ask if a kid enjoyed being tortured like that by an adult? I mean, seriously, I can't get people's rationale sometimes. I bet you enjoyed it.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Or even they're like, I think you're making this up. You just want you fantasized about this. No way. No kid would even think about any kind of sexual stuff going on. I mean, here we are, just trying to be a kid, trying to be normal. We want to be loved. We want to be held. We want to be shown that we matter in our parents' lives.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll let you go here and now I meet my mic here again and let you get done what you were doing.
Yeah, what you're doing. Thank you so much for supporting me on the channel. I really appreciate that, and it makes sense. And when I'll advocate for you too. You know that, don't you?
Yeah,
I don't
that's,
condone anybody putting you down or nothing.
you know, I just feel bad for the other guy too
Yeah,
and what he's going through.
about who?
How, what's his face?
Yeah, yeah. We got to feel bad about that too. Yeah, there's a lot that's going on. Yeah. Some
Mm.
names we cannot mention right now.
Oh, yeah, I'll go mute my mic here and let you get done what you were doing.
Yeah. I'm just so glad that you're coming here and you're helping and you're getting the word out too, and you're being an advocate as well. I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. You're making a difference in your town too and stuff. And when
Yeah,
the time's right, you know, we'll go and do some of them stories that you told me about and just hold off on. Just let
hmm,
me know when the time's right for me to get that information out to the people. Okay.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So just let me know when the time's right about that. So I'll be glad to do that. I have
I,
went to, huh?
I just get enough courage to come up here and say something.
Yeah. Well, we won't condemn you or nothing. We love you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, we care about you. You're a good friend and you're a good person. No matter if somebody tries to come up and start anything, my channel is not about coming down and uh, on anybody that comes and shares if they because that's your story. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's your
Right.
story, and nobody should come up and try to tell people otherwise. And no, it didn't happen. That you're a liar or whatever. You
Yeah.
lived it. They didn't live it. They don't know.
Sometimes I wish I would have done something sooner, but his first name who has the first name of my uncle. He had the
Yeah.
same name as that perpetrator. And I
Oh,
don't even say nothing.
right. And you did not deserve what had happened to you either.
I just never the same person since.
Yeah, it does change you, don't it?
Yeah.
It makes you more, I notice that whenever, like when I go to a restaurant or whatever, if they try to seat me in a place where my back's turned to the door, I cannot stand it. I had
Yeah.
to sit facing the door so I could see who's coming around me, and such as, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I tell my mother if I was a female, that'd be a heck of a lot different. You know, if I was charged back there in '89.
Right.
And that year never existed to me.
Yeah. So there's a lot of years when you're remembering a lot of things or some of the things times you don't, and then when the time frame came out, then it's like you cannot get it out there. You can't do this. The statute of limitation. Why is there really a statute of limitations even with for sex abuse or
Yeah.
whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm go
I got
ahead.
going here. I'm starting to get teary eyed now. I'll go and meet my mic here and starting to get teary eyed here.
Yeah, I'm just so glad you come up and you spoke, and because your words are important, and what happened to you. I'm sorry that somebody did those actions towards you. You did not deserve it. You deserved the utmost respect and dignity like everybody else. And
Mm,
if you need an ear or anything like that, I do have a lot of good friends even at Facebook, and
mm,
I'm sure a lot of my Facebook friends that if they knew you, they would be supportive towards you as well.
yeah. Tell my wife back in '95 what happened to me.
Uh
She
huh.
said, I don't want you anymore. I didn't need somebody like that and like that. And I said, okay. Notified the papers. Married in '95, divorced in '96. Then
Wow.
it lasted a half a year.
One thing that really gets me about these perpetrators too,
And I try to talk to therapists and it don't work.
on who the therapist is, because I mean, at first when you start uncovering, oh man, it seems like a Pandora's box opening up, right? It just seems to start flitting at you, or like it's your all these asteroids kind of like coming at you, just being hurled at you. It's like it's overwhelming. It's like, how am I going to deal with all this, right?
Yeah,
It's crazy. Um,
I'm
and
gonna.
it's kind of hard to deal with. And it's like, okay, who opened up Pandora's box here?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut my mic here. Gonna let you finish. And
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in and joining in on the conversation. I
sure,
think I need to do another live tomorrow if possible, where we talk about another, to break it down into different sections. And oh, you got an idea on which one you would like for the discussion to go? I would like whatever hints or tips anybody could give out.
let me get this out of my head, and I'll let you know on your Facebook or on here in the comments.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, just make sure you let me know whatever what topics, and different people can write me at Facebook if y'all are listening, and let me know too what y'all would like to hear more about to learn about. Because right now this is still April is still Child Abuse Prevention Month, and so
All right.
I like to touch base on some, and maybe some people come in and join. And on Thursday I'll be having a guest Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Time.
Alrighty.
So I hope that you'll be in here to support her as well.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
It's gonna be Cage with Cage Carry On. Okay, Kaiser. And
Yeah.
so thank you so much. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate every one of y'all for coming in and staying tuned. Be sure you share this information out. And I like that fact about thinking about once several times, even several times a month, and doing a special prayer, for even a daily prayer, for the 5 kids that get killed, by daily. So I want to thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of y'all. Have a great day. Thank you, Chris.